Welcome to the first episode of our series, where we explore what it's like to navigate pregnancy as an expat in the Netherlands. We are so excited to finally jump in and share our knowledge with you.
Today, we are diving into how the Dutch healthcare system supports expecting mothers, particularly focusing on the role of midwives.
I'll be asking Juliana a series of questions because I'm still fairly new to the Dutch healthcare system. And Juliana has been here a while and has given birth twice, so she has plenty of experience navigating the healthcare system as an expecting expat and as a birth professional. Let's dive in.
Hi, Anna.
Hi, Juliana. I gave birth in Vietnam, where the midwife is more of like an assistant to the obstetrician or the gynecologist, who is the one who does the baby catching. Can you tell me, what is a midwife here in the Netherlands and what do they do?
Yes, absolutely. But I wanted to tell you that it's actually the same in Hungary. It's also like the gynecologist who is taking care of the pregnant women. I know that often people who come to the Netherlands, it's really new for them that they don't go to a doctor, but they are like not sick. So they don't need to see the doctor. They are just pregnant. So they go to the midwife. In the Netherlands, the midwife is called a verloskundige. They do, when you're pregnant, you go to them and you have consultations with them. They do examinations and they are assisting during labor and birth itself. I use the word assist because I think the birthing mother, the birthing individual does the birthing work, and everyone who is there, any professional providing support. And they, of course, ensure that the baby is safe, the mother is safe, and they have comfort. So midwives, they attend birth at home, in the birth center or in the hospital. And if the birth starts at home but needs to be transferred or moved to the hospital, they also go with the couple once, because it's like they ensure that the transition is smooth and they can offer continuous support that way.
That's awesome. So it sounds like midwives here are like really in charge of natural birth or like uncomplicated birth.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Oh, that's great. In the US, there's where I also gave birth. There's different types of midwives. There's like a certified professional midwife who kind of specializes in home births. And then there's the certified nursing midwife or certified nurse midwife who is more doing birth in the hospital. And then I think that there's one other type of midwife. But are there different types of midwives here, or is a midwife a midwife?
There are definitely different kind of midwives. I can tell you about that. So let's picture this. You have a positive pregnancy test and who you call. In the old days, they often called the huisarts, the general practitioner. And the funny thing was that when I asked my husband's family whom to call when I was pregnant, they also told me that I have to call the GP. So I called my GP and she was like, "Oh, congratulations, so good. But you have to call your midwife. You have to find a midwife." Yeah, so it's always the midwife who you contact the first time. You can choose the one who is closest to you, but there are also like specialized types of midwives: caseload midwife and holistic midwife. Oftentimes, caseload midwives are actually holistic midwives. So caseload midwives, who are they? They handle a smaller number of cases and they offer like more personalized care throughout the pregnancy. They are really ideal if you are looking for a closer or one-on-one relationship with your midwife. But the thing is that like the basic health insurance plans cover midwifery care, but there's a defined scope what is covered in the healthcare package. Obviously, caseload midwives, because like what extra services what they offer is longer consultation times, or you can go to them more often than what is covered in just the basic service. So you pay extra for those out of the pocket.
Okay. Is it a lot?
They often have different packages, like you have a basic package and then you have more advanced packages. I think it's like I'm not sure about the exact cost, and I think it's also depending on the midwifery practice. But normally, like there's 1,800 something euros, which is covered by the insurance, by every basic insurance. So that's the midwifery service what they offer. And then on top of that, normally it's also like 1,500 euros for the basic package, what you pay. And then it can be also more for the more advanced packages, what you pay at the caseload midwife.
Oh, okay.
I already mentioned holistic midwives, but I said that often caseload midwives are actually holistic midwives. So they integrate natural and alternative therapies into their care, focusing on the physical, emotional, and the spiritual health. They blend these therapies with the traditional medical care. There are also, in the sense of differences, that how many midwives are in the practice. One of my clients chose to travel a few kilometers extra to a smaller practice where only 2 midwives were, because what was closer to her, there were, I guess, 9 midwives. So it was a really huge practice. So she was really looking for the personal touch.
Okay.
So these midwives, like the midwife practice around the corner, or the holistic midwife, or the caseload midwife, they are the first line midwives. They are independent practitioners. They handle pregnancies and births that are expected to follow a usual healthy pattern without any complications. They can provide care at home, in the birth center, or in the hospital, depending on what the parents prefer and where the midwife works. And these midwives focus on keeping the pregnancy and childbirth as natural and as intervention free as possible. They are trained to notice when something is different from a typical course of pregnancy or childbirth, and they will refer clients to a second line midwife or the gynecologist if any complications arise. And this is the most important part of everything what I'm saying today, is that they do have life-saving equipment and they are trained to use those. Like they have oxygen for newborn reanimation if needed. They have medications to manage excessive bleeding after birth. They have instruments for cutting the umbilical cord if necessary, or for stitching any tears. And they have reanimation equipment for newborns, including a manual, and that's the word I need your help with, the resuscitator, right?
Yep. Yeah, resuscitator.
Yes. The bag and the mask for
Yeah.
reanimation. They monitor the progress of the labor. They are checking the dilation of the cervix and the baby's position, obviously the heart rate of the baby, and they just check the overall well-being and the vital signs of the mother, and if everything is in the within the normal ranges. They can administer medications, and they also give like support and guidance, suggesting labor positions, ensuring that the labor is smoother. Obviously, emergency procedures like episiotomy, and that's really rarely done in a home setting, only if it's absolutely necessary. So first-line midwives are well equipped to handle a high range of scenarios.
Do they also carry like a forceps or vacuum extractor or
No,
ventouse?
not that I know of.
Okay. So that would be a hospital transfer.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we have the second line midwives, and they work in a hospital under the supervision of a gynecologist. They care for individuals who have higher risks of pregnancy that require medical interventions or close monitoring. And they also assist more complex situations like medicalized labor, delivery, including the use of epidurals, induced labor, and so on. And then again, if they see something that is not in their scope, or if something goes wrong, they always have the gynecologist they can consult with, or even that the gynecologist come to see the mother and discuss together what are the next steps.
Okay.
They have a really good referral system. So if pregnancy or labor starts to have problems and becomes too risky, the first line midwife will send the mother to the hospital where the second line professionals will take over. But on the other hand, if the pregnancy that was thought to be high risk turns out to be going just well, the mother can go back to the first line support. And,
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's good that it works on both ways.
Yeah.
And the best thing is that, in my experience, you are, as a pregnant person, always competent in your own story. So they suggest what you should do, and then you make the decision.
I love that. I love that here, as you said, the pregnant person is the one who's making the decision in collaboration with their healthcare team, whether it's the midwife or the gynecologist, but together they make sure that the pregnant person feels really supported.
Yes. And again, it can be also challenging for some expats. Like what I already mentioned, I came from Hungary, and there the doctor knows it. They've done it many times, and I don't even have to think about it because they just tell me what to do. And here, it's like you are a grown-up person. You take charge. You're a competent person, and they tell you the scenarios or what they suggest, but in the end, you make the decision.
Yeah, I bet that could feel overwhelming for people.
Yes.
But then at the same time, once they do take charge, the confidence that they're going to have in their own abilities and their own body and their own ability to parent their kid.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's
huge.
Amazing.